Good afternoon, everyone. The cycle is back. It's visible for all to see. Now, how will our civilization change? X 8.7 bottom limb. In addition to the multiple other X flares. Would this have anything to do with the outer gas giants? In a square configuration October this year, 2024, how will this sacred pattern affect the energetics of the solar system? Bottom right limb, top left limb, the emanations, and as we see today, marking their exit spots. So if we overlay the Earth and the electromagnetic connections, where would be affected most, do you think? Add in the moon. Visualize these current flows electrifying. Carrington sunspot, 3664. The volcanoes have begun. The mud floods once again, Indonesia. Millipedes by the millions leaving Suiba National Park, Taiwan, and the southern crop growing zones in Brazil flooded. Now the stories start. Electromagnetic effects, human caused, or is it the natural cycle, amplification of our sun? Our minds are going to interpret reality differently. Control the populace and don't tell them it's happening. And just more anecdotal evidence. Our star is changing. Now, can we pin a cycle to this? Perhaps. But this is the longest in the next step of continued X-flare releases from the sun. This one 8.5, X 8.5. It's just spike after spike which will arrive to this planet. And how much electrical amplification will there be that'll affect human psyche? And have you seen people behaving strangely as of late in an electrified atmosphere? But if we do look at something, just comparing history here, Carrington event versus AR 3664. Now if you're looking at cycles, are these cycles? Do these same repeating Birkeland current variances also show the same sunspot? Would it not be an electromagnetic fingerprint, for a better term? If the cycle is going to repeat, here it is twice. We'd probably have to see 3 cycles of this to verify that shape. But you can see the emanations, and this is what would be amplified electrical current on those 2 nodes right there, discernible. 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock position approximately. And where do we see over the last few X flares? Check out the particles. Look at the density of that. It just scatters the screen. Upper limb, lower limb. We see it again and again. And on the 14th, where did that X8 occur? The same exact emanation point. And if we go back to the original X flares, we see that same pattern again. So it looks like the Earth's going to have an extra chance for mid-latitude auroral viewing. Now what does this do for, like I say, the humans on our planet? And that last one, Soho, this one, Lasco C2, blue. Emanations coming from the exact same points, taking on shapes if you see that. But the energy is directed outbound at these same exact positions again and again and again. So lining them up, how many times can these currents come flying out from the sun and not affect our planet? The answer is it can't. And when you look at the charted graphs here that haven't even arrived yet to our planet, well, we got 4 more backed up behind that. The next one tonight, 7 p.m., 2300 Universal Time. So remember, East Coast time is 4 hours behind UTC time. Global Electric Circuit. That's why I'm asking, are people behaving strangely around you with all this extra energy coming down into Earth's atmosphere and the crust? David Brady warns the S&P could nosedive to 1,000 points, erasing 14 years of gains. CEOs like Jamie Dimon have been warning about 70s era stagflation. The 70s were a lost decade for the stock market, but gold and silver exploded higher. From 1972 to 1974, gold gained 240% and silver surged 315%. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Also, Patriot Gold Group has a no-fee-for-life IRA where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. No fee-for-life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 546-7020. And now on with the video. It says it's a phase state change currently. So how is this affecting human psyche and perception? And perhaps this is the reason we're seeing our world change. Perhaps our abilities rise as this planetary geometry reoccurs once again after 2,000 years. October 25th, you'll notice the four gas giants, Earth in the center, and then the Sun, and you can see the possibilities of energy transference. If we look back at 79 AD, we see the same exact matchup. So let's put those together, and does anything look similar? Is it the cause-all, the be-end, the end-all? No, not at all. It is just a cycle within larger cycles. But it's enough to upset our fragile economy and our fragile civilization that relies on very fragile electronics. Because suddenly, the expose, life on Earth is under assault from human-caused electromagnetic fields. Well, the change of the electromagnetic field off of the Sun, I think, would be amplified thousands of times more than what humanity can put on this planet. Looking at the global electric circuit, magnetic field lines looping, currents, how the weather would be affected, the fair weather currents, and also the auroral currents. This high voltage cable in space coming right to our planet, electrifying. So my question was, with that known variable, the ecliptic, the way our planet is tilted in its orbit, and the way we move around the Sun, I wonder if we could see anything. Because really what you're looking at is just more highly electrified ropes coming off of those two limbs, then connecting with our magnetic field lines. It's amplifying the entire system, electrifying the entire system. More earthquakes, more volcanoes. So I'd ask you to look then. You can see the emanations. I put those. So let's look together. The emanations are there from the exit points. And as our Earth spins on the ecliptic, you can almost see where it's going across the planet. Now I add the moon in. Where does that take us? That same trajectory was exactly where these aurora forecasts were for the intense events. Strongest geomagnetic storm since 2003. This one in Switzerland, but what's so interesting is the color of it lit up the snow on the peaks. Late season snows, that is, for Switzerland. But amplified mid-latitudes or amplified mid-latitudes. Let's go down to southern Florida. How about purple? Milwaukee. And also electromagnetic events here. Look over in Taiwan. All these millipedes are leaving the national park at the exact same time. So what do the animals, insects, fish know about the changing field? Do they feel an earthquake in advance? Because as we're entering into this squaring pattern, this is where we sat at the beginning of the X-flare volleys. And as we move forward to the 14th up to the 16th, use your eyes to see if you could find any geometry that would tug on one side, depending on the size or composition of planets. This is what we ultimately end up in October of this year, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And if it does indeed have an effect, which many say, no, it won't. Well, how do you know that until it occurs or doesn't occur? With a quick 30,000 foot view of this thing, those cycles seem to be related with the planetary geometry, with all the changes that occurred at that time as well. Volcanism, electrical activity in the skies and in the earth from the earth, and storms and floods above the 1,000-year mark. Mud flood Indonesia, Mount Merapi. And then we have these same strange clouds, Palm Desert, California. Okay, I picked it up. I thought it was interesting enough because it looked like the epicenter of the earthquake clouds before the Turkey quake. Electromagnetic or amplified riding on top of a natural cycle, not sure. Could we with our technologies today? It's possible. But speaking of undulating atmosphere, it's almost like watching waves crash over. Now what if they were electrified waves of water particles, but lighter, called clouds? How would that bend our weather systems or collapse them on top to create rivers from the sky? This is the crop growing area in Brazil. The entire countryside looks like this neighborhood. And that was the swing producer for the world. So now look for the food prices to start sweeping the planet. Then you might ask yourself, are they just throwing up a disturbance pattern because as this different electromagnetic field will allow humanity to perceive reality differently? Who knows what form that will take? But it's definitely worth a look and a conversation of what if it is. And almost everything we're seeing is manufactured and manuscripted to, like I say, put up that interference pattern when this new electromagnetic field arrives and saturates the planet, where whatever's happening with the human brain, it occurs to everybody at different levels all at the same time. Will that be minutes? Would that be hours? Would it be days? Seems like somebody's preparing for such an event. But if they can trap you in the prison mind and create their reality, perhaps you'll be too focused on that to actually see or feel or understand what you see changing in front of you. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section below. We'll discuss it further. Bye for now. And join me on Patreon for updates just like this of topics that are verboten here on YouTube. See you there, Patreon /adapt2030.